the first book, the Maruti story, sir, you've been always a great votary of teamwork. You thought that people-to-people contact, you know, how you interact with each other, that builds a company, takes it several notches above. With the digitization, sir, and artificial intelligence, how is it going to impact when we talk about manufacturing, product design, etc., etc.? It's a new world out there. What's your opinion on that, Mr. Bhargava?
You know, ultimately, in any organization, it is the people who make the difference. In a lot of organizations like IT companies and all, everybody is very homogeneous in the sense that they're all engineers and they're all technocrats and things. And so they all work more or less as a team. In manufacturing, unfortunately, we have this, I'm not sure where this has come from, but it has come that people who are less educated are not the same as us. And we have a kind of superiority complex that if we are better educated, we have all the know-how, and the people who are less educated do not have that kind of know-how. It's totally wrong. Actually, the workers in a factory, and they are about 70% of the total employees, have as much interest in or motivation, if they are motivated correctly, to improve the factory, and they have the capability of doing this because by virtue of the experience which they get by working on the shop floor. The challenge for management or people who are in the higher positions is to respect people as people and to recognize that these people also have the same aspirations as we have. They also want to get a better life for themselves and their children. And if you create conditions where they can see that happening, they will work with full devotion to the company.
Yeah, that's the work integrity that we are talking about, which is extremely important to the success of the India growth story. Mr. Bhargava, there is by and large broad consensus on the economic reforms in this country. Post-liberalization, there is a direction and a trajectory which stays the course. But there is a strong section in the political class which still sees capital with a sense of suspicion. And you have constantly been arguing in favor of, investing faith in wealth creators as the potentially only viable, durable solution to improve equitable growth in this country. So how does one deal with the level of, distrust in corporate world yet in this country?
Rakesh, somehow I'm able to follow her better than I can follow you.
Maybe the mic is faulty, sir. Could be, no?
Yeah. No, Mr. Bhargava, let me just, speak a little slowly. I was saying that we've come a long way and there is political consensus on economic reforms and there is a broad trajectory when it comes to the growth story. But there is still a large section in the political class which feels, even in the, which feels that the capital has not to be trusted with the same amount of, there is suspicion around capital. Private sector investments are seen as with some amount of suspicion. And you have been arguing for greater trust of faith in wealth creators. And you've been arguing, saying that that is the only way to build equitable growth in this country. So how does one solve this challenge that is coming across to the corporate world in India?
See, Rakesh, we have, even when we started our development in 1950, the logic behind the system of central planning and all was that we were a resource-scarce country. That hasn't changed that much. We are still, as you're saying, the private sector is short of resources to invest. Companies are not generating enough internal resources to finance the kind of growth which is possible today. The reason for that also is that we have followed a lot of the Western practices in management. We have not developed our Indian style of management, which should be, and Indian style is basically much more frugal. If companies are managed more frugally and you avoid a lot of unnecessary expenditures, which happens because that's the Western pattern, you can actually accumulate far more resources than you think is possible. I'm talking of Maruti. We followed a very frugal management style. We have been able to finance our growth from the original 100,000 cars to 22 lakh cars, which is about 21 times our original capacity, all from resources generated internally. We did not borrow, we did not have to go to anybody for money. We will double this to 4 million, again without raising money from anybody. We don't go to banks, we don't go to the stock market, we don't go anywhere for money. And with all that we've done till now, we have 50,000 crores of cash reserves. So it's not that companies cannot have money. It's the style of management which will make the difference.
That's brilliant. And on that note, Mr. Bhargav, it's been a pleasure. It's an honor to have spoken to you. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for a legend, R.C. Bhargav. It's our honor truly to have listened to you, sir. Sir, if I may help.